Question, Supreme, I give thanks for the stream of current where we're in and the force to craft the swords, to paint the image needed to traverse the time to self-realization. I guess the question is coming. Has the Porlandra Garden Project attained this unity within nature? The co-creative white brotherhood made up a overlighting deva of a healing nature pan map team medical assistance program of higher self. Okay. When it comes, we will see it. The whole world will see it. Meaning when they accomplish it, you answer that question. Listen to them. See how they reason. See what they are speaking of and whether those things are applicable to you in this life and in the next. And then you will make a decision. I can't judge something that I don't know about. I guess the Porlandra Garden Project is someone that is saying they have attained this. I won't say that no one has obtained this. I will say just look, feel, see how they're reasoning, because what we're doing is we're scanning the entire globe for more Jedi. I check YouTube every day for someone who's inspired by Ethereum. You can tell when it happens. There's a certain vernacular, a certain lexicon. There's a certain way they move. There's a certain thing they connect. So you can see this as like attracts like and resonance attracts resonance. And that discernment is key, because if it's just everything that you want to hear, namaste, we're going to beat evil forces. What evil forces? You mean the ones that have not been completely changed, that are still in the process of changing? What beating? What will we fight with? You see what I mean? So you need very clear things, because this is not mist anymore. This is not delusion or illusion. This is us getting very clear on these mysteries and how they work within. So check it out. See what you see. If we're talking about the Great White Brotherhood, we're talking about the OTO, or the Golden Dawn. So that should be very clear. So when they're saying they're creating something and have done something, let me see it. Because what I've seen so far, and remember, this is not someone comes in and tries to change everything. This is when you come in, you're in the order. And so this team of people has been pretty instrumental at making sure that humanity does not get the light and does not unite, no matter what is on their tongues. So really check it. I just didn't see that the end of that was the co-creative white brotherhood. Now, if we're talking about the Great White Brotherhood, so I just want to make sure that this is very clear, so that way none of what I said in the beginning gets undone through confusion of questions. Now, if we're saying the co-creative white brotherhood as far as just white being a creative component, that would be another question, and it needs to become more specific. So I just want to make sure that's clarified, because the Great White Brotherhood, or GHB, see me on the astral plane. We'll just say it like that. It's just ridiculous at this stage. Like I only act like this when we talk about this is because I've seen how much damage this has done over time and how many souls have been lost. And mind you, this is not just people that are back there trying to read knowledge and comprehend it. This is people actually hating other people and even hurting other people for service into a power that is basically what they call, this is very interesting, because they call this that there's two serpents that are going up the staff, and that one serpent is going down. So they've aligned themselves with that energy. And what that energy does is it pulls other things down. And while that could become useful as a challenge, like weight and gravity can become useful as a challenge, when that is being done to beings that don't even know what's going on in the first place, or even children, now it becomes where you're breaking the laws of nature. And we expected nature to enforce those laws, but that's not who the enforcer is. Hermes, Thoth, the Jedi are the enforcers of the laws of nature. And when there's no enforcer, the place becomes lawless. This enforcement is not necessarily beating someone up. It's coming in with the real mysteries and displaying the product of the mysteries so that others are able to actually see the truth and know the truth. And that's the same. That's what I'm saying. The whole thing with Jesus, if you really understand what's going on, it's them, once again, GHB, plagiarizing the knowledge of Kundalini, which is more of a female, putting it into a Caucasian male's body, and then going on from there with a story that has led millions of people astray. So these kind of things can't be really taken lightly at times when you see a whole realm go into dissension because of this. So I just want to make it very clear that there are those that are opposed to the growth of humanity. And it's very important that we at least see clearly of where they are, because it's like a snake, a poisonous, venomous snake. If you can see it, then you don't step on it. You don't even walk by it. But if you can't see it, and then somehow you end up in one of their sanctums, they're just going to feed on you. And that's what's been going on in these spaces, is that they're feeding on souls. So there is a light matter to this where we can speak about these things, but we also need to understand these things are very serious. There's a reason why 300 people or 3,000 people are dying every day in pain through suffocation. You see what I mean? Like the strangling aspect of that coming into the dimension where people are, they're leaving the realm through not being able to breathe. That's called a strangler. That means that someone has opened up basically if you can see the openings to the other world as vaginas, you can see that all vaginas are not clean. What that would be like is looking at a snake that has a very poisonous mouth. This would be like a dark coven of let's say witches, where they're witches or warlocks, and they would keep breeding in that coven like breathing snakes until eventually they produce a very poisonous snake. And then that snake would become the adversary to humanity. So this is what they're working with. So they went a little bit, you know, how you think, well, damn, that's pretty deep. I mean, how could somebody do that? You could see that there's different types of beings here in the world. There's not the ones always that think about how are we going to assist everyone. But the beings that are thinking like that need to start being aware of what else is going on, so they're not so naive in these places that they're walking into, imagining that they're going to be given the truth. When if you were going to be given the truth, you can see it already. You can hear what the person's saying, and you can hear what they're trying to give you, and you can see that if it's applicable or not, versus if it's just words, right? So have that discernment, because it's necessary these days in these times, especially with this level of awareness.